Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome back to DCTV, where I am your host, Drew Collins, bringing you all sports-related news here in the beautiful greater Cincinnati area. If you are new around here, join the family. We're on hashtag Road to 2K subs and DCTV family members. And if you enjoyed what you saw, leave a like. And as always, get active in that comment section because here on DCTV, I value your guys' opinions the most. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some shout outs. What's up, Bengals fan? Who Dey Drake, Shane, I'll get into it. John, hey, Shah, hey, Aaron, hey. I saw in the news no network bids Thursday night football, so this may be in its last season. Bummer. Hey, I am back. Who Dey DC. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's having a great day and a good week, and I hope your week continues to be great. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and hop in today's video topic. If you're watching this post-production or live, I thank you very much for joining the DCTV family. But essentially, yeah, I mean, you read the title, you saw what we're talking about. Geno Atkins has most likely 99.99% has played his last game in a Cincinnati Bengals uniform. Now, first and foremost, before anyone starts giving me hate or anything about Geno Atkins, I am a player first guy. Geno Atkins has done a bunch of amazing things to the city in general. One, he's been one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle the Bengals have ever had. And two, he's up for Walter Payton Manning Award, or the Walter Payton Manning Award this year. So basically, it just means like he's a great guy. He does a lot to the community. So first and foremost, thank you, Geno, for everything you've done. If he does end up leaving Cincinnati, which I believe he will, I think it's I think everyone sees it at this point. And he's a great guy. He's been a great player, and he's done a lot for Cincinnati in general. So I want to get that aside. But sooner or later, you're going to have to dig into the information and go over the real news. So basically, if you didn't see what happened on Twitter, I might have to find the tweet. But essentially, a lot of people are calling and saying that he's done. Like, his career as a Cincinnati Bengal is over. Him and his agent have talked to the Bengals organization already, I believe, and said that they're most likely going to part ways after this season. So essentially, if you didn't know, this whole season was his worst season of his entire long career already by a ton. He has 0 sacks, which is not even been close to what he gets every year. But he's been dealing all year long with a lingering shoulder injury, which I think has been, it's been kind of obvious that he has not been healthy. And it's kind of disappointing that the Bengals fans have kind of shipped it under the carpet the entire season long, and the fans have been stuck here not knowing the truth. I mean, I don't know about you, but growing up as a Bengals fan, Geno's always been good. Growing up, he's always been productive. He's always been a top 10 defensive end or defensive tackle, and some years top 5. The guy is a great, he's great at getting tackles from the gut from any running back in the league, and he even get to the quarterback sometimes. But this season in 2020, he has just not been the answer. Thank you so much, Tony.
Hashtag pray for Joe.
Hey, I appreciate Tony. Tony 136, all-time donator. Appreciate you so much. Who Dey John, Who Dey Nightwolves, Who Dey Buzz. Shout out to Buzz. He's a member. Buzz, I hope you like your name down there. Who Dey Stewart, I missed the news. You're good. You're good. This organization is not protecting their good players. Zach Taylor must leave now. I'm going to get into Zach Taylor in a second. I don't want him to leave. This will give Renew Ren the shot I've been waiting for him to get since he's been drafted. His potential is sky high. Either way, to draft someone to use. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of go at this at a couple different angles. So first, I guess I will kind of start with Geno Atkins himself and his production. Obviously, this year has been a huge disappointment by a ton. I mean, he's went from a top 10 defensive tackle, if more, to not even starting. He's been getting benched over guys that are 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 6th round picks. Like, it's kind of disappointing, but I understand. I'm not kind of, I'm not, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose his shoulder injury that he's been recovering from, but it's obvious and clear that he is just not what he used to be. I know he's older. I know guys in this league, that's really not even an excuse because guys play till they're 45, 40 years old, but at the same time, it's just obvious he's not the same guy he once was. I respect him just because everything he's done and how productive he's been. He's really never gone out and complained about the organization. A lot of people, don't like this organization, and there's been players, Carlos Dunlap and others, who have came out and, talked against this organization. Geno's always been a self-collected guy that kind of does what he does and goes along with his business. Now I'm going to start with, I guess, the Bengals organization and what does this mean going forward? The positives and the negatives. As a whole, looking in a general statement of what this means in particular, it essentially means that for the positives, salary cap is going to be great for the Bengals. We're most likely going to be shipping off AJ, Geno, and if I had to guess, maybe a few other guys of these veterans that would take these heavy contracts. We're not going to have to pay these guys anymore. Even if these guys were going to end their seasons in their careers in Cincinnati, we would have to pay these guys anywhere from $8+ million to 15 a salary, depending on like guys like Geno and AJ. But when these guys walk and move on, that's extra cap space we can sign towards younger players, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, defensive linemen, linebackers. Like these are positions that we can go get now. So that is a positive. I will say that. There's a lot more negatives, in my opinion. One is veterans. This team has no veterans, and it's going to get even worse. On the offensive side, really the only veteran on that entire offense is Giovanni Bernard, the backup running back, the mustache man, who we all love, and he's going to be an all-time Bengal. On the defensive side, let me move out. It was Giovanni Bernard and AJ Green. But AJ Green on the field, speaking of body language, seeing what I can see from my eyes and analyzing every single game this season, he doesn't seem like a leader. He might have a C on his jersey, but every game, his body language is piss poor. And even a few weeks ago, a month ago, when he on live television during a game says, I don't know why they just don't trade me. So if you want to count him as a captain, a few years ago, yes, he was when he was happy, healthy, and wanted to be in Cincinnati. It's clear that he's probably not going to be here next season as well, but that's a whole nother video. Moving on to the defensive side, who was our veteran? Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. Carlos Dunlap is gone and Geno Atkins is gone. Who else does that leave that the Bengals will have? Jesse Bates, but he's only 24. Jesse Bates is by far our defensive player, maybe our best player on our entire team. So he's really going to have to step up. We really don't have any more veterans. I mean, the only other guy I can think of is Sean Williams, our backup safety on that defense. So veteran presence, we don't have it. Yes, DJ Reader's a little bit older, so maybe he'll step in when he's fully healthy next year. That's another positive I'll add. Geno goes out, but it's not the end of the world. DJ Reader, we signed him in this offseason. He, season-ending injury. We didn't get to see him this year, but he comes back next season, and he'll be the first, he'll be DT number 1. So what I'm saying is the only thing we're going to have to replace is D2 and D3, which, Christian Covington, the guys we've thrown in there, they've not been great. So, mid to late round picks, any veteran presence that we could possibly pick in free agency, something like that, I think is definitely something we'll have to look at. Who said Donnie take over? AJ looks like he hates playing now. Exactly. AJ, you can call him a captain because he has a C badge all he wants, but he just doesn't look happy to be out there. All season long, I've said it since week 1, and a lot of people have disagreed with me. I'm not dogging these guys. I'm 19 years old. I grew up watching these guys. AJ Green's one of my favorite receivers and players all the time. Geno Atkins is one of my favorite defense. You can vouch. But at the end of the day, I gotta bring unbiased content for the Cincinnati community of what my best beliefs are for this organization to be successful in the future. And losing Geno Atkins, it's not going to be the end of the world moving forward. I completely 100% will say that. But it does stink. I love Geno Atkins. He's been such a phenomenal guy to watch. He's been very entertaining, and he's consistent. He's always been consistent, but outside of this year, it's going to stink that we don't have him, though. Moving on to, I think, the big thing everyone's looking at is Zach Taylor. What the hell is Zach Taylor doing to this locker room in 2 years, in his first 2-year career, in his second year as a Cincinnati Bengal head coach? What the hell has he done to this locker room? Carlos Dunlap, gone. AJ Green's gonna be gone. Geno Atkins gonna be gone. If you like him or not, which DC family can vouch for me. In the past, I've tried to buy in. I've tried to agree with Zach Taylor and everything he does. I tried to buy in and be like, this is the guy we're moving forward with. But at this point, it is so hard to do that. I mean, we're just losing player after player, losing game after game. Are we winning anything? Even the free agency we got, not blaming this on him, we lost everybody. Trey Wayne's out for the season. DJ Reader, I know he can't control that, but it's just like since he's been here, we looked for a light in the sky, and it's just been gloomy. And it's just like kind of direction, and like he speeches on culture and looking past and looking at, looking towards the future and looking at the sunny days ahead. But I'm starting not even to be able to look towards that anymore. We have the talent, we have the guys, and we're going to have the cap space. I know the Bengals aren't a huge market team, but we're going to have a lot of cap space. I mean, half our team are either on the rookie contract or assigned to a pretty low deal because they're not that great. So this is the time the Cincinnati Bengals have to make moves this offseason. They're coming off a big buy last offseason, probably the most money the Bengals have spent in decades, probably since I've been alive, and hopefully they go right back to it this year. That is the one thing about Zach Taylor that I hope is that even if we don't, even if he doesn't get fired this offseason, hopefully he realizes, oh, next year, this is do or die if the Bengals do decide to bring him back. So maybe he'll push, he'll tap on the Brown family and get them to bring in more guys.
Also,
That's what I'm talking about, Tony. That's awesome. Bynes could step in as a leader. Yes, Bynes is a little bit older, so Bynes could step in, but he's another guy that's on an expiring contract, I believe. So is he going to come back? We'll have to see. Von Bell, yes, he could be him and Bates. I think Bell is around 25 to 27. He's played a bunch of years in New Orleans. Von Bell could be another guy. But what do we see as veterans in our eyes? And I just think that is gonna, that's only gonna help us win games. Our team is so freaking young. It's insane. Trey Waynes is another guy you could talk about. We picked him up. He got hurt. He's already had a good career in Cincinnati. So we do have guys that could step up and be that veteran presence. It's just do or die. Can they? You know what I mean? Like, can they actually step up and, be there when we need them most? Because we're going to have to lean on somebody's shoulder this in 2021. We know it's going to be Burrow on the offense. We saw that this year, but who's it going to be in the defense? We're just losing so many guys. And I think that thing that kind of stinks, like, when all these guys are leaving, Zach Taylor talks about moving on a new culture. Well, it's really going to suck if we move on to a new culture and that culture is continuously losing. You can hate all you want of Marvin Lewis, but Marvin Lewis brought wins. He brought 5 straight playoff seasons in a row. We didn't win any of them, so it can't be that successful, but we won. He had a solid defense. It's like, since Zach Taylor has been here, he's an offensive guy. What has our offense been? I understand with Burrow, it was pretty good. I mean, we were putting up 20-plus points almost every game. So that's a whole different video. I'm not going to go on a rant on Zach Taylor. This stream is specifically for Geno Atkins. So we'll keep it around that. You have any thoughts about Geno?
Just remember watching him when I was growing up, and kind of sucks to see him go. So
yeah, and I think it happens, but at some point, as a Bengals fan, you got to realize: do I want someone because the name on their jersey, or do I want to see success in the future? You know what I mean? I'm 19 years old and I've never seen a playoff win for my team. Besides when I've rooted for other teams like the Vikings and other teams I want some to win, that is when I've rooted for them, but never for my hometown team, the Cincinnati Bengals, have I been able to see that. So, what is it going to take? I think they're going to give Zach one more year. I also do agree with that, Buzz. Because of the injuries, if we don't look like we are trending up, then we move on and try to get Zimmer back. I actually agree with you, Buzz. Every single stream I'm saying, they're going to give him another year. They're going to say, oh, because of injuries, or, oh, because of, it's only my second year. So I do agree with you that he will come back. If you like it or not, I really think he will. Come on, man.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really follow all the Bengals drama. I love football like a lot, but I really don't follow the Bengals drama. I can't really speak on it much because I don't have like as much knowledge as Drew does. So
he's the average Cincinnati, and like, he'll root for the Bengals, but he's not too much of a diehard because the Bengals year after year don't have too much to show for a lot of people. I mean,
Exactly.
To be a Bengals fan, you almost have to be a diehard and be super loyal. In Seattle and into the bigger city ones that continuously have success year after year, it's a little bit easier. You could be an average fan and catch up a little bit. But I mean, like he said earlier, it's just, when you grow up watching these guys, it's hard to see them go, but you have to look forward. What is the best for the Cincinnati Bengals heading into the future? And, Geno Atkins, I hate to say it, but that position's replaceable. Although I want to say the defensive line, we're going to have to focus in the offseason. Draft picks 2 through 4. We're going to have to sign ends, the interior rush. DJ Reader can't be all by himself next year, although I don't think it's the end of the world because, like I said, Reader will, he will return and hopefully he's 100%. He got hurt early, like he got hurt very early on in the year, so he should be able to make a return week 1 if I had to assume. I mean, if Burrow's going to return week 1, anybody should be able to. Are we doing Collins? I can't do Collins right now just because I don't have my setup. So if you want to put your thoughts in the chat, please do that. I'm sorry about that, but I don't have my setup to do the call-in. We should have traded AJ, Geno, and Carlos last year and stockpiled picks. Now we're getting nothing for them. And Mike, that's honestly a great point of view, because there has been many times, even earlier in the season and last season, where I'm looking at a roster, I'm like, we are not win right now. We are hopefully competing, but we're still building to our future. You don't just draft a rookie. It's like, all right, let's go to the Super Bowl. Like, that just isn't normal. So, I mean, that's totally something that I think the Bengals could have looked at. But we know this Bengals organization. They aren't aggressive. They don't go make trades a lot. They just don't. But I totally agree. When they traded Carlos Dunlap, I was like, man, it only took him to talk so much crap on social media about your organization for you to trade a guy. I mean, that kind of put it in my point of view, like, man, it really takes a whole lot for this organization to do anything, to trade a guy. So, yeah, I think we should explore trading AJ, trading Geno. But, that's always going to be one of those what ifs, because it's just going to be unless we sign him and then trade him, that I just don't see that happening in any case or any scenario, in 2020, heading into 2021, just where we're at and just what the Bengals have showed me. They're just conservative. So, but that's always going to be a big what if. Samuel said, joining late, what happened to Geno? You can always go back earlier in the stream, but basically it's a wrap. Like, he's on his I should explain this. So essentially what happened, he's on the IR for the rest of the year. He probably shouldn't have been in the IR since the beginning of the season. I mean, he just hasn't been him. He's just not been healthy. He just doesn't get any pressure to quarterback. He doesn't get a lot of tackles. He plays about 20% of the snaps, if that. And he's just been having a lingering shoulder injury, I believe it is. And they finally put him on the IR. And there's just quotes going around from reporters across the league saying that essentially that him and his agent are basically going to part ways from Cincinnati this offseason. Which was kind of the nail in the coffin. I think most people are seeing that. I'm kind of waiting on a tweet for that for AJ Green. But once again, I think the two things that are going to be against Geno and AJ, they will get signed somewhere else, somewhere like Seattle. That'll take Carlos Dunlap and turn him into he had no sacks here. He goes to Seattle. He has 4 sacks within the first month or something like that. So these guys will go somewhere else. They just won't be able to get the bag, most likely. Especially not Geno. I just don't see him getting that bag after having the kind of season he had. I think, though, he'll definitely get signed. And same with AJ. I mean, AJ's 14+ mil salary right now because we had to franchise tag him. I would be surprised if he were to get 10+, but at the same time, it's AJ Green. It's the name on the back of the jersey. New England, somewhere is going to pick him up because somebody's going to believe that he has a few years left in him. I'm very hard on the AJ Green situation, but at the same time, you got to look at, vice versa. You got to look at the opposing side. He has a backup quarterback again. He had a rookie quarterback that, obviously they didn't have really good team chemistry. He had way better, Burrow and Boyd and Higgins had a way better chemistry than him and Green ever had. And then you go last year, Andy Dalton gets benched, then a backup, Ryan Finley. So, he didn't really play because injury. Then the year before had another injury. He's out 2 years in a row. So, there's a lot of excuses you can make for AJ Green, I guess. But at the same time, I have a feeling I'm going to be making one of these streams soon for him. I just think it's a little too early. I didn't even want to make this video this early, but I know that it's the truth that's going to happen. I'm going to wait a little bit longer with AJ Green because it's AJ Green. And I know it's hard for these guys to move on. I mean, AJ Green's gone out in the media and said multiple times that, I value what Larry Fitzgerald did and staying with Cardinals' entire career, and I want to do something like that. So I know it's not like they want to go, but then you bring into question Zach Taylor. What is Zach Taylor what is he doing to push these guys away? It's very intriguing. It was like Marvin Lewis, he had a couple issues within the locker room, but maybe the same amount he did in his 2 decades than Zach Taylor's had in his 2 years, which I think is very interesting. Marvin Lewis, I think, was definitely more of a player guy. I'm not the biggest fan of Marvin Lewis, nor do I think all this nonsense going around that he's getting looked back into the NFL and Bengals fans like, oh my gosh, I wish he'll come back. And it's like, stop it, man. The Marvin Lewis era is over, and I'm happy it is. We just got unlucky and picked the wrong guy in Zach Taylor as of right now. Maybe that could change next year if he stays and improves himself. But otherwise, I think we have the wrong guy. It's unfortunate. But do I think bringing Marvin Lewis will bring anything back? I mean, Yeah, I really don't personally. In the Mike Zimmer thing, I love Mike Zimmer. He's done such a fantastic job in Minnesota. I really don't see him leaving. My personal opinion, as of right now, maybe something changes, but he's built that organization to playoff wins, a lot of success. I know this year they're probably not going to make the playoffs, but I don't see him leaving or him getting fired because of it. I mean, did you see the offseason they had? They basically unloaded everybody they had. So that was a little off topic, but you're talking to us about us not having any veterans, but we have young leaders, inexperienced, and an inexperienced coach. Who is going to be the guy that has this? Oh no, I'm not doing this again. We got to do this way. I get we have young leaders. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. But you got to have some guys in the locker room that are, hey, I've been there. We can't do this, guys. It's a big no-no. Or hey, we're gonna do it this way. Yeah, I get Joe Burrow, but he's played what, 6 games? I get Joe Mixon, but at the same time, like, he's only 26, so yeah, I guess you could call him a veteran. I think more of Giovanni Bernard in that. You said Bates, Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson's played 10 games in his career. He's also very young and inexperienced. Jesse Bates, yes, I do think him and Bell are a little bit older, but at the same time, and to my eyes, those, that's not, besides maybe Bates and that topic and maybe Mixon, those guys aren't really veterans. They're young leaders. I totally 100% agree with you on that, though. Are you still streaming the Monday night game? Yes. Do not. Please hit that notification bell. Monday night football against Pittsburgh. I don't know how it's going to go, but we are going to be live, and it is going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. I will be live for that. Our first 2 picks should go to offense line. Mike, yeah, I definitely think we're going to get that tackle out of Oregon with that very first pick. And I think for that second pick, if there's another offense lineman, or if not, I think you look for D-line or maybe corner, because I think we'll at least sign one offensive lineman outside of drafting one. So I don't think we need to just send all of our picks to O-line. I would disagree with that. I think draft that first pick, obviously O-line. I think that second pick, you go get something else because you just go sign. I like the guy that's from New England, that guard, Joe, which would be crazy. Joe, and Joe on the offense. We already have Joe and Joe. But, yeah, I don't think we got to, do all picks off time, but that first pick, yeah, it's got to be, man. I totally agree. Oh, Drake agrees. See, I disagree. I don't think first and second should both be all line, nor do I think the Bengals will do that. I heard a rumor Mixon is done. Don't think so. He just signed like a 4-year contract. Joe Mixon is one guy I don't think we ever have to worry about leaving. He loves Cincinnati. And I think that, a bright spot that Bengals fans need to look at. We're kind of taking a new step. If it's forward or backwards or just side to side, we're taking a step somewhere. We got a young quarterback. We got a good age running back that has a lot of good years ahead of him. We got receivers. Even if AJ Green leaves, we got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, 2 guys that are, 26, I believe 21. T. Higgins is 21 years old. Like, it is just insane. The potential is so high for T. And, John Ross is probably going to leave. We're going to bring Auden Tate back after their shoulder injury. We might draft a receiver mid to late rounds, I believe. I think, round 3 to round 5, I think if something happens like a T. Higgins situation, or just like the last draft. Remember when that second pick and in the second round, the first pick of the second round, everyone thought we were going to get that offensive lineman, and then last second we picked T. Higgins because it was too good to pass up. Yeah. Looking back on it, it was a great call. But if something like that happens, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bengals take another pick. If not, I really see possibly signing more of an aged veteran coming over. I'm pretty sure this receiver class is going to be pretty deep. So, bringing in some guy, I don't have any names off the top of my head. I have to do more research into a future video for that. But I think you could look at situations like that. Tight end CJ Uzomah, who's also out for this season. Actually, I'm going to pull this up. So look at this photo. This is via Ben Baby on Twitter. He's a reporter for the Bengals that doesn't like reporting for the Bengals. Going to put that out there. Call it what it is, but it's the truth. List of the Bengals players on IR in 2020. Geno Atkins, Tony Brown, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, DJ Reader, John Ross, Auden Tate, CJ Uzomah, Trey Waynes, Jonah Williams, and Renell Wren. Let's see how many of those would be starters. Geno Atkins, Tony Brown with Trey Waynes being out would be like cornerback 3, cornerback 4, so you can put him in there. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, DJ Reader, John Ross, no. Auden Tate, yes, because he would be like receiver 4, receiver 3. CJ Uzama, Trey Waynes, and Jonah Williams. This is why Zach Taylor will probably get another shot in 2021. That's just unlucky, man. I mean, it really is, to be in his defense. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, just really, really, really in his defense, he's gonna pull that on paper and be like, what do you want me to do with this? But looking at it, Jonah Williams will come back. Hopefully we pair him with another tackle for the future in the draft. Trey Waynes will come back. Mackenzie Alexander, also from the Minnesota Fighting Vikings, came over. He's done a pretty good job in the nickel spot. Will he come back? Because he was just a one-year prove-it deal. He's really played well for us, so I would really like to see him come back. But we'll have to see. CJ Uzama, I think the Bengals have realized that Drew Sample is not that good. I know tight ends take a little bit longer usually to develop in the NFL. It's just one of those positions that usually right out the gate they're not great. So hopefully he keeps improving, but we spent a second-round pick on him, and he hasn't really seemed like he has been. I was really hoping he would step up a lot more in CJ Uzama's presence, but he's been all right. Auden Tate will get back. John Ross will get back, but I think he'll leave. DJ Reader will come back, and he will take Geno Atkins' spot, whether you think that's okay or not. Joe Mix will come back. Bro will be back. Brown, I'm not sure his contract. I'm sure he would come back, but once again, he's a corner 3, corner 4, corner 5, possibly. So, and then obviously Geno Atkins, who we're talking about right now. I just want to throw that up on the screen. I mean, that's no matter what way you look at it, there's not that's just tough. It's just such a struggle. Zach doesn't deserve to coach his team. I definitely have my thoughts about him and his coaching style too, but you got to be honest and be real with yourself. What do you think the Bengals organization is going to do? Do you think a team that drafts in the bottom 5 would trade down so we get 2 first-rounders? Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely realistic in the situation, but once again, are the Bengals going to trade? I think there's been many times in the past where I'm like, Bengals draft, or like trade. And it's just like blanks. So yeah, I honestly think if there was a good cornerback or a good defensive, edge rusher that we can replace Dunlap with, and he's picked 29 and we got second, we got picked 35. What else? I don't think there's too much we couldn't give up. But at the same time, what would happen? Trade for Belichick? Now, do you have anything else to say about Geno? Big 97?
I mean, sad to see him go, but I guess it's time. But
it's crazy seeing him and Carlos go. They're both gonna go.
Those are 2 Cincinnati legends.
I mean, those guys have been a Fortnite duo for a long time. They were both what's a good skin? What's a good skin? I forgot all the skins. John Wick. They're both John Wick skins. But anyways. Yeah, man, it's going to be sad moving on, but you got to do, it's the NFL, it's a business at the end of the day. You got to do what's best for your organization. And, as much as there are negatives looking towards the future, I feel like I always have to say as a Bengals fan, year in and year out, this isn't the end of the world, Bengals fans. Stay positive. Future is bright, hopefully, with or without Zach Taylor, with or without Carlos Dunlap, with or without Geno Atkins, and probably with or without AJ Green. I'm going to be here no matter what. If you have any comments, put them down in the comment section. Post-production, get active in there. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the sub button. We're on road to 2K, so it's free. Hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot. Follow me on all my social medias right here. Is there anything? DMC Beats. Go subscribe to DMC Beats on YouTube. I don't know your Instagram. It's just Donovan Cowart. Yeah. Donovan Cowart on Instagram. I appreciate you, DC family. Ooh, link in the description. Discord. Go join the Discord. It's a group chat of over 80 plus Cincinnati Bengals fans. All we do is talk Bengals sports. It's pretty fun. So, yeah, I will be live Monday for the game, obviously, the live play-by-play. But it's only Wednesday, so get at me at my social media, Discord, or in the comment section. If there's any other video topics you want me to do before then, I can definitely do that. So it's been your boy Drew Collins. This is DCTV. Oh, we just hit 1800 again.
Wow, I did that.
Yes, let's go. Yeah, right there. 1800. Also, shout out to the DCTV fan members for the extra support. I mean, all the support as well, or as thanked, or as yeah. Thanks. Yeah. All right. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.